All right, it is game 3 once again for 3 teams here in the National Basketball Association for this Friday, April 25th slate. We've got the Boston Celtics taking on the Orlando Magic in Orlando, Florida, the Indiana Pacers versus the Milwaukee Bucks again in Milwaukee, and then in Minneapolis, the Lakers take on the Timberwolves. 3 huge games, or actually 2 huge games plus Celtics Magic, and we're going to talk about all 3 in this video. And folks, before we get into the predictions, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions and best bets here on the channel. We've got 4 games tomorrow on Saturday, so make sure to join us for that tomorrow. And also make sure to go check out our MLB best bets. That was posted earlier today. That's linked in the description down below. And also go check out our UFC Fight Night Kansas City full card predictions with Ian Machado Gary and Carlos Prates in the main event. That's on Greedo Plays MMA. Go subscribe to Greedo Plays MMA and go subscribe to the channel you're watching this video on right now. Okay, on to the first of our 3 games today. We kick things off in the game where I get the 4.5 points. I kind of do because Tatum's out again, but I don't think the game's close. I don't know. I still think the Celtics really outmatched the Magic. You can look at the last game in Boston and say, oh, the Magic kept it really competitive. They only lost by 9. And you look at game 1, and yeah, the Magic were very competitive in the first half against Boston as well. And the games in Orlando this time, you know, their last playoff run last season for the Magic, they took the Cavaliers 7 games in the 4 or 5 matchup, and they won every single game that was played in Orlando. I get that. I just think Boston gets them here, and I don't think the game's close. I think it's another 10-plus point victory for Boston. I think we're not really looking at how poorly the Celtics played in game 2, because they played a bad basketball game. Other than Jaylen Brown. You take away Jaylen Brown's tremendous performance. Guy plays 42 minutes, 12 for 19 from the field, 5 for 7 from beyond the arc, and 36 points. That's a great stat line. You take him away, though, and look at Derek White, who was great in game 1, actually excellent and great in game 1. He goes 3 for 10 from the three-point line, 17 points, sure, but again, Derek White's seen better games, right? Kristaps doesn't have a great shooting night. The Magic really couldn't guard him down low, so they had to foul him a lot. 14 free throws. He goes 10 for 14 with those. Peyton Pritchard didn't have his best game. Actually, it wasn't a bad Peyton Pritchard game, but right, Derek White, there's a lack of production for him. Drew Holiday, you know, he's not, again, there to shoot 3-pointers. He's there for his defense, but Drew goes 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. Porzingis goes 0 for 5 from three-point land. And I get it. That is just how the Magic play. They play suffocating defense. They don't allow you to get great shot-offs. I completely understand that. But I think Boston should be able to get the better of them tonight. Now, Tatum's out. I believe he's officially been ruled out. I know he was, doubtful a little bit earlier. He was doubtful prior to game 2, and he got ruled out. Yeah, he hasn't officially been ruled out yet. He's doubtful of the wrist injury. Drew Holiday is questionable with a right hamstring strain. I think Drew's going to play. I wouldn't expect him to miss this one. Orlando, I'm pretty sure, is still without injuries. Yeah, I don't think there's any way Jalen Suggs can come back this year. But regardless, right, the Magic still starting that lineup of Corey Joseph, KCP, Wendell, Franz, and Paolo Banchero. Corey Joseph's not going to play the big-time minutes always, though, because they will look to an Anthony Black in the clutch, which is fine. Again, Corey Joseph's kind of just there to be a facilitator and to bring that veteran presence on this team. He's been on, championship-level teams in the past, and I get that. I just think Orlando's been playing good in Boston, but it still wasn't good enough to win. I don't think they can get a game at home. At the beginning of the series, I said Boston in 4, and I still believe that. And I'm not going to deny how great Paolo Banchero's been. Banchero has established himself over the course of the season and held through 2 games in the postseason, especially last game and in the play-in as well. Actually, wasn't great in the play-in, but regardless, Paolo Banchero has established himself as a top 20 player in the sport. That's what he is, and right, he has lived up to the expectation. He has lived up to the hype that I guess was around him when he was the number 1 overall pick coming out of Duke. Banchero in his last game against the Celtics, 43 points on 12 of 25 shooting. Yeah, volume's up, but still 32 points, right? 9 rebounds, 7 assists. Franz Wagner's been great too. It's just, Franz Wagner's three-point ball has been down all season long. Since, honestly, after the torn oblique injury, Franz Wagner's three-point ball has not been the same. You might remember him for the, Wagner's three-point shooting for the game winner he hit earlier this year in Los Angeles over Anthony Davis. But Wagner was really consistently hitting threes in the first half of the year. But again, he tore his oblique, so did Paolo Banchero. I personally think it's affected Wagner more. But at the same time, when Wagner was going on his run, and if he stayed healthy, he was probably going to be an all-star in the Eastern Conference this year. When he was going on his big run, though, and scoring a lot, Banchero was out. So, and by the way, Wagner's still playing great. He just isn't the number one anymore because it's obviously Banchero. Something that needs to be noted, KCP, I don't know how much Kentavious Caldwell-Pope legitimately contributes to this team. He's not good anymore. He lost his superpowers after he left Denver. The guy in game 2 goes 1 for 9 from the field, 35 minutes, by the way, 1 for 9 from the field, 0 for 6 from the three-point line, 3 points total. It's just, you're there to shoot. You got to hit those corner threes that you made a living off of in Denver. And I don't know. I'm not saying they're going to do this, and they definitely won't. I wouldn't be opposed to them going, God, you're playing a really big lineup if you do this. Jonathan Isaac, I believe, should be playing more than 7 minutes. That's all he got in game number 2. I feel like Jonathan Isaac really changes the game when he's on the court just because, of the defensive presence he has. Now, I understand, again, he's not a threat on offense at all. He does have the corner 3 ball, but as we did see a lot, actually, in their playoff series last year against the Cavaliers, but that's not a really consistent thing for him. But at this point, if KCP's not aiding you anything, I mean, what are we doing? I get it, though. They won't be able to match up with the Celtics when the Celtics go small because if you're playing Isaac, Franz, and Banchero at the court on the court at the same time, you're left with those guys and then Corey Joseph for Anthony Black. But Anthony Black's a huge shooting guard. He's like 6'6", which is fine though. Again, Isaac's like what, 6'10", 6'11". Regardless though, I just don't know how the Magic win this game. They have to play great defense and the Celtics just have to have an off night, which is something that can't happen to them, obviously, because of how much they shoot the three-point ball, right? In game 2, they go 12 for 37 from beyond the arc. Again, they are one of the highest, or if not the highest, shooting team in the league from three-point land. That's just all they do. And that's why, again, they get into these games against these teams and they create distance so quickly. It's because they are able to just get hot and, continue to shoot all game. I don't think the Magic can win this one. I don't think they're getting a game this series. If they get one, I think it will be game 4. And hear me out, this is why. If they get a game, it's going to be game 4 because they'll lose this game. The Celtics will get game 3. Orlando's, do or die game 4. Celtics probably won't push Tatum back for a game 4. They're going to look at that game and say, okay, if we can give Tatum another day off, we're going to. And if we have to play him for game 5, back at home in Boston, we can do that. But we're up 3-0. We really don't need Tatum. Rather, if Orlando somehow finds a way to win this game, then Tatum probably does have to play that game 4 because you don't really want that series to be back 2-2. Again, I don't think Boston's going to drop a game at all. But right, if the Magic win this game, all the pressure goes, right back at Boston, a team that had 20 more wins in the regular season over Orlando. I don't think they're going to need Tatum at all, though. I still think they're going to win this series without Jason Tatum, and we see Tatum for the second round series against the Pistons or the Knicks. I don't know. New York won yesterday. I don't know. Let's see. I think Detroit can get their gift back on Sunday morning. We'll see. Regardless, though, I'm taking the Boston Celtics to win on the road here in Orlando, Florida. I expect them to cover the 4.5 points and win this game here, again, in Orlando. Second game of the day, we move to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Bucks versus Pacers. I'm still adamant on the fact the Pacers are winning this in 4 or 5 games. They're better than Milwaukee. I don't care the game's in Milwaukee. I don't care it's in... Milwaukee's the cream city, right? I believe it's the cream city. Yeah, they're not winning in the cream city. They're not. I get it. The Bucks are a much better home team, obviously, and the Pacers aren't as good as on the road as they are at home. Indiana is just better than Milwaukee, though. They are a better basketball team than the Milwaukee Bucks. That's the simplest way I can put this game for you. Indiana is better than Milwaukee. They just are. Now, you look at the Bucks, right? This is a team that is solely Giannis Antetokounmpo. Dame, when he's on, obviously wasn't at his best in game 2, coming off the blood clot, right? He hadn't been on the court in a while. Dame in that game 2 against Indiana goes 4 for 13 from the field, 2 for 8 from the three-point line, and only 14 points. They got a huge scoring night, not just out of Giannis, who scored 34, but also out of Bobby Portis, who scored 28 points in that game. Right, the Indiana crowd absolutely hates Bobby Portis, but Bobby Portis' shooting, especially in the corner, goes a long way for Milwaukee because it gives them another viable threat on the court. Because, guys, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. Yes, the Pacers will respect Taurean Prince's three-point ball when he's on the court in the limited minutes he plays in his starting role, but Taurean Prince is not going to win a game off of you. Brook Lopez, for as much as he takes, I always talk about it, that deep pocket 3, he's not a real threat. Brook Lopez will go into games, and he only played 16 minutes in the last game because he's a defensive liability against Miles Turner. Let's just be honest. He gets out-rebounded the entire game against Miles Turner, so that's why the Bucks just, they bring in Bobby Portis, they send Brook to the bench, and they just have Giannis guard Miles Turner, which honestly is not the worst idea. Because it also forces Miles Turner to guard Giannis Antetokounmpo on the perimeter, but obviously when Giannis is, threatening with the mid-range game and then driving in as well. The better lineup for Milwaukee is, and this is how they close games, obviously, it's Giannis, Kuzma, Dame, Portis, and Gary Trent. That gives them the most options. It just does. I think Trent's way better than Taurean Prince. I don't know. I believe Taurean Prince is only just starting because Darvin Ham is on the coaching staff, but it is what it is. Brook can be good, just not in a series like this, especially with the guy like Miles Turner on the other side, and especially matchup-wise, right? Milwaukee wants Giannis on Miles Turner. The thing is, I just don't think the Bucks are going to be able to keep up scoring-wise, and they haven't been able to the entire series. And they weren't able to last year in the playoffs either. But the big thing was last year, when I remember people were talking about, oh, Giannis wasn't healthy. Sure, he wasn't. Look what's happening this year. The Pacers are going to beat them with Giannis and Dame now. It doesn't matter. Indiana is just better than Milwaukee. They would have beat the Bucks last year. They're literally just doing it right now. They are just a better basketball team than the Milwaukee Bucks. That is the simplest way I can put this for you. They are just better. Tyrese Halliburton still is not having great shooting nights. Those are bound to start going as well. We talked about him the other day. Tyrese Halliburton being the new point god. That's what he is. Every game's a double-double for Tyrese Halliburton. In the last one, 21 points, 12 assists. That's what he does. The guy's a machine. Pascal Siakam, Spicy P, is one of the most underappreciated players in all of the game. What that guy does on a yearly basis, getting to the All-Star game pretty much every single season, the guy's phenomenal. 24-11 in that game, too, against Milwaukee. And I find it really funny that the Bucks always try to scrap with the Pacers and talk all this shit. Well, you're down 2-0 now. And I don't think they get out of Milwaukee any better than 3-1. I think Indiana wins this game. I'll be honest, I probably think the Bucks will probably get game 4, but at this point, I might take Indiana just to straight up sweep. I was kind of thinking, okay, it's probably going to be either 4 or 5, but likely Indiana just gets it at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse in game number 5. I'm thinking now Indiana just might sweep. I'm just going to be honest. Just going to be honest. They're that much better. Andrew Nembhard hits nothing but clutch shots. He did it last year in the playoffs. He's doing it again, obviously, the three-pointer over Giannis. A huge three in the fourth quarter where it looked like the Pacers were faltering a little bit. No, Andrew Nembhard sinks a huge three. Aaron Nesmith has been great in this series, 4 for 5 from beyond the arc. The rate at which the Pacers shoot the three-point ball is crazy, and I love Tyrese Halliburton, guys, but if you take away Tyrese Halliburton's shooting numbers from the three-point line in game number 2, the Pacers are shooting about 60% from beyond the arc. And it's a given that Halliburton, who's a top 15 player in the sport, is going to get on track. It's like we were saying with Shea throughout that Grizzlies series in the first 2 games in OKC. We're like, all right, well, the team's winning by that much. As long as Shea gets going, which he will, they're going to be even more dangerous. And I get it. They almost lost to the Grizzlies yesterday, but that team came back from down 25-plus points, and they still beat Memphis. I get it. Ja got hurt, but it sucks, but that's how the cookie crumbles sometimes. I don't know what you want me to say. Anyways, though, I'm taking the Pacers to beat Milwaukee. They're simply just better than the Bucks. I don't care the games in Milwaukee. I legitimately just think Indiana has the Bucks number. There's only so much Giannis can do. And guys, what are the odds Bobby Portis continues to shoot this well? I'm serious. Is Bobby Portis really going to put up 28 points again? I don't think so. Yeah, and at the same time, you can look at Damian Lillard and say, all right, yeah, Dame's probably going to be better. He will. But they also have a guy on the court who does not do anything for them offensively, and he plays pretty much the entire game with the starters. I'm looking at you, Kyle Kuzma. What do you even do? It's fine. Hey, go Pacers. Pacers continue to win. They go up 3-0, and they are fully in the driver's seat to move on to the second round of the playoffs. Cleveland, you're next. See all that success the 37-win Heat are having against the Cavs? I know they haven't won a game yet, but the big run they go on in game 2. Just see how much success the Pacers have against the Cavs. Pacers in 6. That's all I'm saying. Just wait. I will get the final laugh on that one. I firmly believe that, all right? The state of Indiana is getting their get back for Indiana, Ohio State earlier this year, all right? We're running it back. Let's go on to our final game of the night. Lakers Timberwolves. This is a line that opened, I believe, at 5.5, 6.5 for Minnesota. It's now only 2.5. I wish I got it at 6.5. I didn't jump on it. I should have. I'm waiting till now. I'm getting plus 130. Okay. I mean, that's fine. I'll take it. Give me the Lakers here to handle Minnesota. I firmly believe the Lakers are winning this basketball game. I think the Lakers are not losing another game from here on out. I don't know if should we say Lakers in 5 anymore because of Shannon? No, we don't care. Shannon Sharp, he's off ESPN, but it is what it is. Lakers in 5 still, right? That game 2 was interesting, right? A defensive battle. The Timberwolves could not score in the first half, and what I was really concerned about the entire game was just the Lakers. By the way, they never trailed in that game other than, I believe, they were down 4-2 at one point, and the Lakers never trailed the rest of the way. I was really concerned about, just the Lakers blowing that big lead because they never really buried Minnesota. In that first half, the Timberwolves were always kind of just down by 15 points and just kind of hanging around. Second half, that got cut to 10. It got cut to, I think, 7 at one point. It was just like, all right, when is Minnesota going to make that big push? They never did. I think it needs to be said how great Luka Doncic has been in the series for the Lakers. He's been that good. And guys, I love Anthony Davis. I'm really grateful for what AD did for this team in 2020 to bring the squad a championship. But I don't know what the Lakers would be doing right now if AD was still on the team instead of Luka. I don't know where they'd be right now. To be honest, they'd probably be the 6th seed right now, maybe the 7th seed, and maybe they would beat Houston. But they would not have an actual end game this year. It'd probably be all right, second round exit. Maybe you get to the conference finals and you lose. Luka, but the thing is, okay, how would they even play with AD right now? Because LeBron would still have to do everything offensively, not just again scoring, but playmaking to get AD the ball. The way they run their offense right now, Luka's been spectacular. Didn't have his best shooting night in game 2, but Luka's ability to get to the free throw line, and he had so much struggles early in his Lakers career shooting free throws. He's completely fine now. He goes 11 for 11 at the free throw line in game number 2, obviously evening the series for the Lakers. But Luka went 31 points in that game. He was great. AR had a weird game. Couldn't hit a three-pointer, but was really attacking the basket really well, and AR was hitting some tough shots, so I'll give him that. LeBron was ice cold early, but really got it going as the game progressed. Rui, guys, and here's the thing with the Lakers, right? They still haven't had a good shooting night yet. And I expect them to be, eventually have one of those. I think it's going to be this, guys. Don't forget, Luka bitched the Timberwolves in Minnesota last year. That big shot over Gobert to win the game in game 3? That was in Minnesota, right? I think that was game 3. I could be wrong. Was it game 2? That'd been game 2. Anyways, Luka plays really well in Minnesota. I'd expect him to. And here's the thing, right? Gabe Vincent's been good from the three-point line. DFS hasn't been great yet. I mean, I expect DFS to eventually hit those shots. Hachimura as well. AR. The Jackson Hayes thing is weird because he's not playing big minutes. I don't think it's really part of the game plan for Jackson Hayes to really play much. He only played 9 minutes in the last game. I get that was foul trouble. He had 5 fouls, and really anytime he got on the court, he was fouling somebody. Hell, everyone in the game between both Los Angeles and Minnesota were in foul trouble, and I like the whole thing. The Lakers won that game because of the referees. The Timberwolves literally shot 5 more free throws, but it is what it is. It's fine. We'll see. The thing about the Timberwolves too, though, now that they went back to normal and Jaden McDaniels in game 1 had his weird game where he hit everything, same with Dante DiVincenzo, but especially in the starting lineup, right? McDaniels was really good from the three-point line. They bring in Dante off the bench. Now, though, when you take that away, they really only have 2 viable threats on offense scoring with their starting lineup. It's Julius Randle and it's Anthony Edwards. You can't count on Mike Conley to score, but obviously, again, that's going to be Nickeil Alexander-Walker minutes or Dante DiVincenzo. But both those guys in game 2 reverted back into what we thought they were going to be, and I think that's what they're going to be for the rest of the series. And then Gobert is not a scoring threat. We know that. And Jaden McDaniels, again, reverted back to what we thought he was going to be. And Julius Randle's trying to play, he's trying to play superstar ball out there. He thinks he's trying to play hero ball is what I was looking for. That's just not going to cut it. Julius Randle had a great game too. I don't think he does that again. I'd expect Ant to be better this time around. He did not have a good shooting night in game 2. I find it really hard to pick against this Lakers team because Los Angeles still hasn't had a good game in this series. Yeah, they played great defense in game 2. That's very fair. But shooting wise, they still have not been good. They shot 20% from the 3-point line in game 2. And yeah, the Timberwolves shot 20% as well, but you know, they had a game where they shot 55% from the 3-point line in game number 1. I expect the Lakers to be a lot better tonight. And I think they win this one. I think AR needs to get off to a hot start early, and I think he will. Luka needs to get it going from the 3-point line. Nobody shot the ball well for the Lakers in game 2. All fairness, nobody really did either for the Timberwolves. It was a defensive matchup. I think the Lakers start to hit their shots. And again, going back real quickly what I was talking about earlier, if AD was on this team, LeBron would have to do everything, and his defense would suffer as a result. Now, Luka really takes over the offense. LeBron is just, let's be honest, a once-in-a-while type of guy scoring-wise. Either he's going to get that open shot or he's going to drive, obviously, and either kick or find his way to the hoop. Luka running the offense benefits them so much because now LeBron can go 100% on the other side. I also don't know how much Luka hunting Gobert is going to work. It's working some, but we saw how like Rudy pickpocketed him in game 2. Luka wasn't always making those step-back shots against Gobert. I think given the opportunity, take it, but don't always hunt it, you know? I don't know, because solo ISO ball from Luka can win you games, but at the same time, it can straight up lose you games as well, because if Luka's not hitting those shots, he keeps on taking them, and then, oh crap, you see yourselves in a 10, 15-point deficit. I think the Lakers are going to be fine, though. I think they're going to win this game in Minnesota, and I'm really not too concerned. Lakers in 5 still. I firmly believe that. Give me Los Angeles on the road here in Minnesota at plus money as we close the day again with taking 2 underdogs with the Lakers and the Indiana Pacers. So, folks, thank you all for watching our NBA best bets and predictions here for April 25th. If you haven't yet, though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank you all for watching. And Mamba forever.